The Hebrew text in the Bible has hidden formats. By revealing these formats, I will prove the first writer's words were hidden from you. These formats look like poetry as I group them into small paragraphs. Their grouping will become known as a psalm, and together they become psalms. Let me show you our Creator's 12 commandments, listed in Exodus chapter 20, verses 1 through 17. Any father of a family or his wife who did not obey any one of these 12 commandments, our Creator demanded they bring him a sin offering. Thus, our Creator defined the word sin as not obeying any one of these 12 commandments. Next, I want to show you how I changed one word in Exodus 26, verse 26, the word bars to arches, and the words now reveal the style of the roof for our Creator's tent for meeting with Him. Let me show you the translator's words from the preface of the 1611 King James Bible. They gave 4 reasons for themselves or others to edit the Bible's words. The red arrow at the top points to their 3rd reason to edit the text. By the light and feeling we attained unto ourselves. The next red arrow down points to them giving the title, the Divine, to a clerk named Gregory. The next block of words, they point out they were happy that the first emperor of Rome established the year to the course of the sun. Behind this text means Nebuchadnezzar ordered his kingdom to follow our Creator's calendar when he stopped eating grass. Did you notice the letter S in sun is capitalized? This is to give respect to the Egyptian sun god Ra. Have you seen the Egyptian obelisk in the Vatican's front yard? The last arrow points to your reward for studying the Bible. Your reward is to have a fellowship with the saints and participation of a heavenly nature that will never fade away. There is no such thing as nature to a truthful Christian. Our Creator created everything. By their own words, they were not seeking to know our Creator or Jesus. Not everyone has the knowledge to correct every word. I have an old Bible program that has the New American Standard Bible 1977 concordance to help find a better word. Their concordance has the number of times they use that English word in a parenthesis for that Hebrew word. The translators removed his name, YHVH, to put in 2 titles, Lord and God. I replaced those titles using the letters Y and V as his name, for the Hebrew language does not have a J, O, or W. By using these 2 letters, I am closer to the truth than anyone using J, O, or W for his name. So why is there a single letter O in the Hebrew text 1,095 times? No proper English was used? The blue highlighted text is text that I am removing. The red highlighted words are little words that I'm adding. Gray italic words are words that I added. To respect and honor our Creator, all capital letters in purple are our Creator's words. This is Jesus' prophecy, for I am revealing the first writer's words to tell you the true truths about Jesus. As the text is revealed, you can taste the writer's style of wording. Their words will take your belief to trusting our Creator. You will be watching prophecy before your eyes as I edit true truths back into their psalms. All right, I'm going to continue in chapter 2 of Daniel. This will be 2nd part, and I should get through it. And that's because I had a failed triad attempt, and I've already got a lot of work done. So this will be probably a shorter video than most, but it might only be an hour long. But the thing here is when I put the text that I've cleaned up from the last video, you can see that I have a problem here that I realized that later in the story, Daniel is going to tell him that he had a vision. So I need to make sure the text is reflecting that he's still going to say a dream. Needed a little correction when I started reading the text together here. And those that were actually watched the last video, I had this group right here without a second paragraph as you see how I have them grouped together and then a double space. The text wasn't there, so I went back and I looked for the text above this verse, and I couldn't find any. So I had to went under the text, and I found it, but then I needed to move it above this text. So what I'll do is I'll show you that there was no text above here, okay? So what I did was I went below here, and this text I had actually made blue point or to get rid of it for the simple fact that I'm pretty sure I mentioned that this is a repeat of the text above. So now that I put it in, now we have the pattern working correctly when I stick this text above it. Now, when I left off in here, it was that this is what he was telling them what he saw in his dream. He hasn't given the interpretation yet. Now down here is the editing that I've already done, and what I did is I went all the way through the end and cut the verses up a little bit, and then I started editing them. And what I realized here was that the feet of stone and clay were actually just shattered, that he's first seen it shatter, okay? And then the description is, then they all fell together. Now this means that the rock had to hit its feet together, so it really isn't a stone. I'm going to have to change this word to be something like, because a stone is something you can grab and throw. A rock is going to be a little bit bigger and heavier. So I have to say a rock. A rock was cut out of hands and struck the statue on its feet. Otherwise I'd have to say the stone, and I want to say it's a rock. So now that it's a rock, meaning something large, because the story is going to describe it as becoming something larger, so you wouldn't start with a stone that you could put in a sling to sling the stone. So that's my editing to say why it should be a rock. Now, the next thing is, I went through here and I realized that since I didn't use bronze above, and crushed actually means fell here, and all these words together mean they fell together all at once. Okay, so first it was shattered it, and then it just crumbled down. So, and then it became like chaff, and the threshing floor is not a floor. It is an area, but the thing here is it's an area that they need the wind to blow they call the shaft the shell around the wheat seed itself. And you have to have wind to do this. And they would do this at the top of the hill because in the valley there would be less wind. So on the threshing hill, the wind blew them away. Now, what you also see is I have 3 words here as major words, where I usually try to keep just 2. And I've noted this from time to time that some of these verses needed 3. And I was still trying to think of how I can use 1 word here instead of 2 to say blew them away. And the wind, it didn't carry them away, it blew them away. Now this is where I left off before my software program froze up. So Now that I'm all caught up, I will continue. So I don't need the word, whoops, what happened here? Oh, the cursor was not in the right area. So not a trace. So not a trace. Again. So not a trace. I guess I need the word of, but I need the word it here, which means the statute. So, and I'm not going to use the word so, I'm going to use the word and, trying to get rid of major words here, or if possibility, people would think that that's a major word, and I'm using like 5 of them here, and not a trace. And the wind blew them. Not leaving a trace. Not leaving a... If I put leaving here, and I've got away and I've got leaving, but this is the what's left on that spot, and not leaving a trace of it. And I'm going to say I'm going to add that because that's just not reading right down here at the end. Not leaving a trace of it. Now where is the rock? So if I bring this down and but the rock that struck it, it. This would be the statement. This has got to carry together. But that isn't true. This is, I've got, this goes with this. They became like chaff on a threshing hill. Not leaving a trace of it. And get rid of this. Does that pretty much mean what I want it to say then? And they became like chaff on a threshing hill. They become like chaff. I could use carried them away by saying blowing. They become like chaff. Like blowing They become like chaff, blowing them away, not leaving a trace of it. And then this, we know that this is actually where that would happen at. So this was common knowledge back then. You don't have this in everyday life as you walk around today. So this was going to be this, and I'm going to say blowing them away like shaft. They knew that shaft was blowing them away, not leaving a trace of it. Okay, that's good enough. But the rock that struck it, this now has to become a period statement, became a great mountain. And I'm going to say filling the land. Earth can be changed to the land that he's before him, that he sees, and all of a sudden it's coming up and it's becoming a great mountain before him. So this way it's not the whole complete earth filling the land. So he's looking, he's seeing like the top of the hill where this would take place, where the statue would be on a hill, then it would be falling down, then, but the size of the hill would describe how big the statue would be, a great mountain, or a great size of a, anyways, okay. And that means that those two were together, and then I need a second one to, okay, this is the end. This is the dream, because he has this up here. This was your dream. Since I need this word here, I'll make it mine, but I'll leave it italic. This was your dream, period. Now I will tell its interpretation to my king. Okay. So now this has to go into another group. You are king of kings, which means he conquered a lot of them, period. To whom YV has You are King of Kings, to whom YV has given you their kingdoms. Period. Comma. Save it. I'm going to say, and now you have power and strength. Although this is all going to be a group, so I'm going to take it down below this line that's dividing here the pages together. So how do I do this here? You are King of Kings, to whom YV has given their kingdoms, you their kingdoms. Not the sons, but this men dwell. This I don't think is needed. This is not really needed. He's not in control of the beasts of the field, nor the birds of the sky. So let's get truthful here. And if this goes together, that caused, it's already got the word given. So if I use for here and get rid of this, because I got has given you their kingdom for you to rule over to rule um for you to rule everyone. Yeah, and I'm thinking in my head, I'm not saying for you to be ruler of everyone. Okay. Okay, this is going to be the end here, but now this, if I make this and make that the end, and then put this first, telling him what he is, for he has given them into your hand. You are King of Kings, to whom YV has given you their kingdoms. I want to say, like, thus you are the head of the head of gold. But this is a statement. That's why I'm having trouble with it. And you got to have that as above it. So I gotta move that up. And I gotta say, and I'm gonna just move it. So I need this 8-point plane moved here. Align that so it's easy to see. You are the head of whole gold. And if I use that, not them, this, can I find giving you the key? This would not be needed. For your glory. If I did put that in here, can I, and for your glory, okay. And I would just need this again. For your power, and glory, for your power and your glory. You are the head of gold, for you to be ruler of everyone. So it'd be for his power and for his glory. Okay, I think that's how it's going to be. It'd be read or being grouped together as two. After you will arise another kingdom. After you will rise another inferior to yours. Oops. After yours, There will arise. There will arise another inferior to yours. And after your death, and after your death, it seems to it's just telling me that that's what's pointing here. And after your death, there will arise. Yeah, that's the way it usually happens. After the kingdom, there will arise another inferior to yours. Then a third, then a third, oops, I like to try to keep them all letters like that. Then I added this. Then a third, and it's not this, it's not this. And they're not ruling over all the earth because Egypt is still around, Africa is still around, India is still around, and they knew India existed. So, and then this is not really true because it ends in the third. Then a third that will, whoops, third that will break into pieces. To it's the downfall Rome here, so that it will break into pieces. Let me see here. Just a second. It will break into pieces. Crush. And this has already been said. Crush. That will break into pieces. If I come up here, And let me see if I can use this verse as the second verse. Then the third will, or not will. This is our Creator doing this. And will shatter into pieces. This is all being said right here. So how do I put an ending to crush? Will shatter into pieces, meaning they become different countries. That's not needed. Not needed. That's not needed. But this and this are going to be. To break. And will shatter. How do I get to have this great land of maybe, say, 800 miles wide and 300 miles in width gets shattered? It gets shattered. Shatter like bronze, like iron. That will shatter. That will shatter everything, meaning that, okay, I'm going to stick with into pieces. Will shatter and will shatter into pieces. I'm just not seeing this as the next verse. Right now, I've got to say I'm at a loss, except for that if I add, there's something missing here. The text is missing. Because of the rock. That's what happens in the story. So it's because of the rock. And now that has to be the period. but I have to say this has to be all mine. Now, just a second here. And still, even though this is the format, this is two grouped together. And it's not a pottery, it would be of clay. But I just can't use that. And this is just, this is just not enough here. And this is not right. The days of that king, because of the rock, or in the and it has to be that king. We're in the days of that king. YV in his heaven from that in from his heaven will set up a kingdom. This is all come from our Creator. Will set up a kingdom. Never to be destroyed. That's our Creator's never set up a kingdom, never to be destroyed. And that kingdom will not be left. not that, and the kingdom, and the kingdom will not be left for another race. Because you have to understand, the Babylonians have their own race, as the Assyrians were a race, as the Hebrews were a race, the Egyptians are a race, the Arabs are a race, India is a race, Persia has to be a race. So when Assyria was taken over by Babylon, and then Rome took over as a race, and then now the next is got to be a race. Another people is another race. That's just the way I'm seeing it. Now that is saying that's a group. But this stone has got to be referred to as a king. So it's got to be he will, not it. He will cause their end. He will cause their ending. I hope you're hanging in there with me, because they have to put the rock, because these verses seem to be able to have this, because we have to make sure the stone, he will cause their ending. And his kingdom is forever. Everyone is for his kingdom. Let me see. And everyone meaning the people, all the races, and everyone is for his kingdom. This is going to be a period here, or a comma. Enduring forever. Well, let's see. Gotta do this. Because this is our creators speaking these. Now you kind of know why when Nebuchadnezzar woke up, he became our he he became a true believer. Our Creator exists, and changed the calendar of Babylon to, and that was why it would be kept until Rome. He will cause their ending, and everyone for his kingdom, and everyone is for his kingdom. And it, I guess, and it will, I got to go back to endure forever. Endure is could be say, is that word like exist? This is way down in the text. Endure. It will be established forever. I think I'm going to use the word established. And it will be established forever. Okay. I can get rid of all this and say word for YV has made it the kingdom known to my king what will be in the future. Bingo. And now that verse connects with that verse. And this isn't really needed. Then Nebuchadnezzar I would say nodded his head, but then Nebuchadnezzar bowed uh, his head, not his face. It's his face is connected to his head. And to homage, I think, would be respect. Respect Daniel. That's who respected Daniel and gave orders and gave a command. He just doesn't give orders, he commands. So, gave a command No, he's got to respect Daniel, and he gave a command, and it wasn't to do this. Let's put it this way: an offering. That's not. Those words are just corrupt. Respect Daniel. Then he said, because now he's on even terms with Daniel. So he said, And I don't know, we know who he is. So, and said, and that means all this is going to be gone. And said to Daniel, period, and said to Daniel, surely YV is God of gods. And that's the way he would understand it. So this has to be like this, and this, well, it has to be I'm going to have to, like this, as God of gods. And the Lord of kings. Lord, I'm going to have to say, I'm going to start putting this like this, as given a full title and respect to our Creator, as God of gods and Lord of kings. But this, I guess, is all small, and I want to say revealer as all capital letters. Now, how come I didn't get all capital letters? And reliever of visions, David told him they were, since you were, whoops, gotta shut that off, were able, you were able to reveal my dream, which is really now he knows it's a vision. And I think these can be this color to reveal my vision. And this is then he promoted Daniel and made him um, and made him chief. Oops, not chief. And he's not going to be a ruler over a province. And made him his, what was done at the end in the king's court, advisor. That's the correct title he was given. And gave him gifts and made him his advisor. Now that would be the end of those two groups. Now this I've already got. Daniel requested he appointed these guys, which I got to go back up. And I know this one is Mish. Mish. I've shortened his name down, by the way. That he appoint. Okay, now let me go up here, and it's going to be a while. I got to go search. Whoops, hey, wait a second. I've got other text that have it already cleaned up. So Let me go up here to the beginning. Oh, I don't have the first chapter here. So I got to go up where the first chapter here. These guys right here. Now I got to go to here. And this guy. Okay. Because they're his buddies. Over the administration. I'm going to leave this as a blank yet. But I'm going to just leave it as text I got to get to, because down in the story, these guys are the ones that are going to get probably thrown into the fire. So I'm going to leave this as this, and I will make it yellow text. But now to get the complete what I've done today, I'm looking for that break line right there and say this text I want to take, oops, so I don't erase any of that. I want to bring it to this text, and I got to do this, and then I'm going to enter it. Now I'm going to grab this, and hopefully my macro cleans up a lot of that. Okay, so I'm going to blow it up and clean it up and see what I've got here. That would be a 3-verse. This becomes a 3-verse. This has to be 2 spaces, then 1 space, then 2. This needs to be 2 spaces, 2 spaces, 1 space, 2 spaces, 2, 2. And then I'm going to leave the number 45 here. That just helps for people to backtrack or find those words easier. Then this has to be 2 spaces for that. And then this becomes 1 space. And then this becomes 2 spaces. And then this becomes 2 spaces. And this is what I was trying to get rid of. I don't know why it's screwing around like this. Because I'm really trying to get rid of this text here. See, I can't. It's still going to make it that way. But let me save that. And I guess we've got quite a lot of text for chapter 2. Even it was like, what was it, 48, not 40, 49 verses long. But everything has fallen into place. I guess I didn't do this one yet. But I'm going to clean, I guess I forgot to grab this text. And because I don't want the text to be split up with bad, what is it, Microsoft formatting, I've got to do all this by hand. Because if I don't do it this way, it just means I got to go through and recut and do what you seen me do here earlier. But now I can get, whoops, this should be 2. Now let me get rid of that markings. And now, yes, this is all of chapter 2. And it is such a great story that I haven't had to throw anything out here. Not important, not anything important, kept everything that was important. So you're seeing history right here as I'm doing it. That text needs to be moved around, but man, this really told a story as, oh, let me see if I can do this. See all of this, okay. See, somewhere this stuff gets disconnected. And then, look at that. And then 2, then 1. Yeah, so you're seeing what's really going to become very beautiful text to be able to be read And right now, the style of this writer has stayed the same. Okay. So that's, to me, oh, this is text I don't know about, so I got to leave that colored yellow. But I will continue with chapter 3 here on the next one. And see, that only took me an hour and 20 minutes to get through because I did a lot of work on it. But anyways, I will continue with chapter 3. And that will be that'll be all in the next video. So anyways, you have a great day, and let's share our Creator's knowledge with each other.